Not at all. It's fine. We have a virtual real estate academy that it's all in one real estate investing learning hub. And we cater to real estate investors of every level. And we have a group of over 15 experienced investors, all with a combined experience of over 75 years. We help you train and build and, have a bunch of teaching and modules in there to bring your business to the next level. And
yeah, we got like a couple months ago, we got involved with Nicole and James because with multifamily, they run a very, very informative thing. And too often, I think, whatever, some of the gurus or whatever, the teachings, they're not practitioners. So, they give out a lot of information, but it's not people that have actually, done deals or currently doing some deals. A lot of times people rest on their, back in 2008, I did this, or back at, things change, times change, conditions change, the market changes, everything changes. So if you're not involved in stuff now, you might not know the current trends, you might not know the current money situation, inflation, all that stuff. So, we're trying to build a little community here that, we can all learn and grow. And then that there's information that's current. So we're designing some courses, we're coming up with some different topics, some different things. Back in the day, Airbnb wasn't a thing. Well, now it's a thing, so, but you have to do it right. The Burr method is a good thing, maybe not because of the way that inflation is. So, we've been doing these Tuesdays, and it's more about giving value. And then, you guys can check out the virtual REI Academy and see if there's some courses on there you might need, and, take a look at that. And that way that's going to help you, grow your business and be successful without making the big mistakes. A lot of what we're not really teachers, but, we're kind of trying to be in that role, and we're trying to, let some of the things that we've done that haven't worked out so great and how you overcome that. And that's kind of why we did mindset tonight. I don't know if we're at 7:30 yet, but
not quite.
That was one of the reasons we've been doing this for a couple months now, but it's all good until, your mindset isn't where it needs to be. And then you just quit and, everything you worked for. So we've had a lot of good topics on things to get you doing things right. But right about now is the point where you haven't got a deal, or the contractor went south, or, some other things. So, basically we're going to do a reset with mindset. It's not a bunch of fluff, it's not, yippee-ki-yay and all that stuff. It's not, it's just like tips that you can do to get your mind right, or if things are going bad, how you can combat that.
And one good thing with the academy, I was saying that it's for every level in investing. Like all of us, I know James and Nicole and Jane and I constantly are growing and learning and pivoting and learning new concepts and ideas. Just over the weekend, we were at a pretty intensive course with options, real estate options, and creative ways to structure deals. Especially since, with the markets, you want to have different ways that you can buy houses and still make a profit and do it the right way. So just constantly adding things to the tool belt. And then when we learn, then we can bring it to the academy. And we're almost at 7:30.
We have anybody else waiting, or we looking good?
James, is there anybody else waiting, or shall we start?
James, that was to you. Is there anybody in the waiting room? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. My dog was barking.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just let Saul in. He's the only one that was in the waiting room, but I'm sure people will come in as the hour goes on.
Okay. We're pretty punctual, so if we're supposed to start at 7:30, we want to be respectful of everybody's time and start at 7:30.
So we can can I share the screen? Yep, you can share the screen. And
we're working on our technology too.
Oops. Trying to make it. Just a second, folks. Slideshow. The faces were covering the. There we go. Start from the beginning. Okay, I'll reiterate. This is brought to you by the virtual REI Academy, your all-in-one real estate investing learning hub. You can learn how to make smart real estate investing and choices and decisions and build a thriving business. We're have over 15 experienced successful investors involved with learning and teaching and modules. And we are always adding and bringing more value to promote the academy. And here is the website and Jane and my email to reach out to. And without further ado, we're working on mindset. Not sure if I really like the iceberg illusion. You know, everybody sees success, what people see. They think that you just automatically one day woke up, started doing it, and became successful. They don't see all the things that you had to go through to get to the success. Like all the doors slamming in your face, people screaming and cussing at you, the issues that you have to go through, all the hard work that in boots on the ground, pounding the pavement, working to get to the success part. And I like Bill Gates. He said, if you're born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, it is your mistake.
And this really is true. I mean, people, you know, they don't see that you're up at 2 a.m. putting offers in on houses. They don't see that you're working, you know, a lot of people are working a W-2, and, you know, then after that, they're looking at houses, putting in offers, you know, calling their agents. They don't see all the deals that fell through. You know, if you put in offers for 1,000 deals, you might get 2. So they don't see those other 1,000 that you put all that time into. They just see the one that you know, actually got and flipped. They don't see all the hours, you know, and then they're just like, oh, you're successful. You got lucky. Well, it wasn't luck. It was, you were putting in a lot of hard work, and, you know, you got a lot of no's, and, you know, most people can't hear all those no's. They just, you know, it's like when you hear no all the time, after a while, you know, it beats you down. So you got to have that mindset that, you know, going in, you're going to get a lot of no's, but it's that yes, that'll drive you forward.
And people always think that deals come to you. Deals don't come to you. You create the deals. They're not just there. You have to work hard and create the deals and have creativity and the right mindset to look at things different ways and, you know, make the right decisions and be a problem solver. And when you know, first start real estate, you know, and you listen to ads on TV and this and that, you hear a lot of gurus, and the gurus make it sound so easy. They're all, you know, no money down, little experience, don't take much time, and you're going to be a millionaire. These kind of coaches are horrible coaches. They set you up to fail. They don't tell you the truth. They don't tell you that it takes grit, a lot of hard work, a lot of effort. And they tell you that you don't need any money. I hear that all the time. Oh, it doesn't take any money to invest in real estate. Well, there's always money. For very minimum examples is marketing. You have to market yourself. That's not free. You can do organic marketing, but you're still going to have to pay some money for decent marketing and getting websites set up, getting business cards, putting your name out there, and campaigns. Usually when you start real estate, you have to put mail campaigns out there, sending emails, sending text message, virtual campaigns, mailers. That takes more money than you realize. And, you know, you always, you know, want to learn. So you want to go to the right groups, join the right clubs, get coaching and mentors, the right kind of coaching and mentors. And then you always have to have some sort of money down or earnest money deposit, which is EMD. Yeah.
I mean, at minimum, like EMD, you know, we did the HUD homes, and at minimum, that's $500, and that's, you know, it's, you have to have EMD. So it's, and pardon me, I have a little bit of a cold, so Coughing. Marketing, we did a lot of that in the beginning, and it was all, we hand wrote the postcards out and we sent them, but you still gotta pay stamps, and if you have a thousand deals, that, 1,000 mailers out, that's 1,000 stamps, so minimum cost, you can get away with some stuff, but you're still gonna have to have money, and it's, not just you standing in front of a Lamborghini saying, I didn't spend any money and I'm now driving this car. It just doesn't work that way.
And we're not saying real estate's, impossible. It's when you do it the right way and you understand. I mean, I'm sure all of you are doing real estate, investing now. So you see it's a great business opportunity to get involved, and it offers so many positive benefits, but it's really not for the faint of heart. And it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. And like some of those gurus will tell you, they don't make mistakes. Well, if somebody comes to me and was going to teach me real estate that they haven't got running into any problems or making any mistakes, I'm going to walk away from them because they're lying. We all, took our lumps and made mistakes and had issues, but, and you always have to pivot and always have to combat curveballs, which that's really hard and frustrating. You have so many curveballs, and then you start putting in your mind, well, this isn't working. And then as soon as you think in your mind it's not working, then it's not going to work. When you put something in your mind, and it's, that's what's going to happen. You're going to turn into a reality. It's going to turn into a reality. So, and, it's a lot of adjusting and pivoting. You might have been a rock star last year or the year before, but this year things have changed and you have to adjust with it. That's, what I was talking about. We're always learning and growing and going to different conferences and classes and learning from mentors and fellow investors.
I mean, you guys see us on the 6:30 meeting. We don't have to be here, but what better people to learn from in the multi-family space, which we don't have any experience in. So like, that's a win for us. I mean, that's a no-brainer just to log on at 6:30 so we get all that experience and knowledge.
And when we first started out and worked with other people, and we're all kind of came into, like, we started out a Baltimore RIA group, and a group of us came up together, and a good percentage of the people that were starting the real estate journey with us, they got caught up in analysis paralysis. And analysis paralysis is overanalyzing and overthinking, and it causes forward motion and decision making to become paralyzed. Not saying you have to jump in and do deals without knowledge and without learning first, and the coaching and mentoring. And it's a good to think things through and learn a trade or a business first, and to get a coach or a partner who has knowledge and experience, especially on your first couple deals. But the problem is with overthinking every situation, which leads to avoiding any action at all. You're just, not taking action, not moving forward with your business. Even after you've gained the knowledge of that deal that you're doing, you vetted the deal, you got positive feedback, and you're still afraid to take that plunge. And you're thinking of a million reasons why not to do the deal. You're thinking of 100 problems for that solution instead of 100 solutions for the problem.
And I think that's one of the traits in real estate that will make you a good investor is problem solving. So, because no matter what, for every problem, there's a solution. You just have to find it. You might not find it in 10 seconds, but there's people out there that can help you find a solution. There's, so you just have to go with it and do the deal. And then if something goes sideways, you just have to figure a way out of it. And you can always figure your way out of everything just with the right people and, the learning you've had and everything else. You just, problem solving and persistence will get you way far in this business.
And that's why it's important to have exit strategies. That way, if something goes awry, then you can switch to the next plan for that deal or that house or that property. And that's, we always wrap our mind around, you're not actually an investor, you're actually a problem solver. If you get good at solving problems and solving other people's problems, then you're going to succeed, and the sky's going to be the limit. And the big issue is negativity and naysayers. I'm sure you experience some people in your life that are the naysayers, the ones who say, you're crazy for doing this, or it'll never work. You're just going to go broke. You'll never succeed. And always my favorite is people yell, that's illegal. That's what we've gotten throughout the years that we've been doing this. And it's good, to try to educate them people and to teach them, but it's hard to change a negative mindset. And it ends up bringing you down as you see the apples, the one apple's happy and then the negative apple comes by and then they're both grouchy at the end. That's usually what happens. You think that people can bring the room up, but it's unfortunately the opposite thing happens. And I know the general consensus is just to stay away from the negative people in your life. That would be a good solution, but most of the time they're family and friends, and it's not impossible, but it's, you can't really, it's not easy to stay away from them.
You can't fire your family.
Exactly. But what you can do is set boundaries and limit the exposure when you have, when you meet up or hang with your family or friends, the ones that are negative, just tell them, that there's certain topics you don't want to talk about, set those boundaries. If they start becoming negative, then end the visit and try again later. And then they'll start coming around and understanding. There's some family members of ours that they like to talk about politics, and it gets out of hand and crazy. And that's one of our rules is when we hang with them, we do not talk politics. That's a no-go, and we'll walk away if they start talking politics. So.
And in your business, that's kind of a topic you want to avoid anyway, because you don't want other, because people will just not do business with you based on your, something you said or, your political affiliation or whatever. So that's just something that doesn't belong in the business world anyway. And you really should surround yourself with positive people and people who are going to bring you up, and other real estate investors who, have done some good work and good deals. And that's only going to help your mindset to see that it can be done, instead of hearing all the, this will never work, this will never work. Then you're actually seeing people that are actively doing deals, have actively made money. And it brings you up. It's going to keep you away from feeling like you can't do things.
Exactly. And that brings us to this slide: coaches, mentors, groups, getting involved with like-minded individuals is so important for your success. People who understand your positive mindset and that you can bounce ideas off of, work on leads together, joint venture with people, partner up different ways, build relationships, learn from each other, and then, grow each other's business.
So, and everybody can learn from everybody else. I mean, there's things that we haven't done that, somebody might have had a better way to do it, or may give us advice. And, even after you're experienced, I mean, even Nicole, I'm sure, will tell you that, if somebody came to her with a different way to do things that was better, she's not just going to say no, because I've been doing it for all these years and I'm going to do it my way. There's, that mindset will get you stuck. But, if you're open to different ideas and open to different people, then you're definitely going to succeed.
And Jane and I have had many moments, throughout the process where one of us was ready to walk away, the other was ready to give up, and it was like, well, just go get a regular job. And then we get frustrated and overwhelmed, and I'm sure we all have done that. And then you just have to hang in there, maybe take a little break, take a little breather, and then come back to ready to tackle it. And just remember your why and your journey, and remember why you're doing this and what the things that are important to you, and just dig deep, and then reach out to your network and your circle of friends and your community, and get back in there fighting again. And we wanted to try to do a little round robin.
James, can you be a judge?
A judge?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
Does it pay well?
Just say yes.
It pays
Yes.
well.
So I have 3 gift cards to Starbucks. Whoever turns on their camera and answers up for us, I'll mail them off to you.
I'm trying to get off of share screen. Where's the? I'm having.
Any takers?
Well, I was gonna get off share screen so we can put everybody here so we can see them. Where's the? How do I stop sharing the screen?
At the
Oh.
bottom, there should be a little,
Gotcha.
there you go, you found it.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right.
We want to do a round robin, want to know examples of how mindset has impacted you, other people's mindset, your mindset in your business, or it can be a personal life situation or whatever you want to share, you're comfortable with sharing. If you're dealing with a situation now, maybe we can talk about it and try to work through it. You know, if you have ideas, how you negated the issues and what solutions did you come up with?
And I got one more. Yep.
Okay, who wants to go first?
I had 2 cameras on. I need one more camera for the, I won't even make you talk, just if you put your camera on. All right, we got the 3. Just put in the chat box the address I can mail them to, and we'll get them off to you.
Does anybody want to talk about situation they had? I know that they must have had people that were naysayers and told them all kinds of things. You might want to bring that up, or a funny story, or any kind of share.
I guess we're gonna have to keep telling stories.
You know, one of the things you said earlier about mindset, one of my favorite quotes actually comes from Henry Ford, who said, if you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
Does anybody else have favorite sayings?
I have a favorite book.
What is it?
It's called Mindset, literally. So it's by a woman named Carol Dweck. She's a psychology professor out of, I think, Chicago University, something like that. And it really talks about the 2 kinds of mindsets that are out there, the ones that are from successful people and the ones that aren't from successful people. And it's not something you're born with, it's something that you develop. And she kind of walks you through the process of how to develop it. So it's a phenomenal book. Some people have said it's the most important book out there ever, depending on, you know, who you talk to and stuff like that. But it's a great book. It's phenomenal. I've read it 2 times already, so it's really, really good.
We'll have to write that down.
Right. And, you know, and it is, I mean, Nicole said it, you can learn anything. I mean, this is not our career. This is not where we came from. I can barely swing a hammer. I mean, we kind of talked about that, but you can teach yourself things and you can teach yourself what you need to know. But if your mind's not right and you are, you're thinking, oh, I can't learn it, or, oh, I can't, do this, or, it's too hard, then you're not going to get to the point where, you can. And once you do your first deal, and then, once things keep going well, it's a snowball. Then it's just, you just keep going and going. It gets bigger and bigger. But if you can't get to that first deal, or, people are getting in your way, and, life happens. I mean, we all have our, families, and, people getting, sick. I mean, I'm not feeling the greatest, but I have a commitment to be here. So it's, in my mindset, it's my commitment to be here and, teach you guys about mindset. So, we had to go sign some paperwork today for a house that we sold. So it's always in that, posture that you just have to get yourself through some things and, do what you have to do.
So one of the things I like the most about you two, and I have admired it for a long time, is that you basically take every opportunity you can to say yes to opportunities. So if somebody offers you something or something comes your way, you try and find a way to say yes to it. And that's such an incredible mindset. That's a good example of mindset. So now I have another example for you, another question, not an example. What do you do when that little voice in your head starts saying, this is never going to work? Yeah, but this could go wrong. Yeah, but, because I think a lot of times it's that voice in your head that gets the best of a lot of new investors. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely, and we had our bouts early on with, I think as you go on longer and now we just feel like we can say yes to anything. But basically, you just have to get through that with, it's going to work and I'm going to figure out a way to make it work. And then, the more you go, the stronger you get with that, where it's like nothing's going to defeat you no matter what. You just have to get through that initial, yeah, but, and just, make it through. And, at the end of the day, there's always people, just on this call, I'm sure we have different experiences and different levels of experience. And, obviously if the world was crashing down and all our real estate just went to hell in a handbasket, we would call Nicole, because there's somebody on this call, or James, that, have been in this business for a long time. A new person, maybe they can call us. So, when you're hanging out with the right people and you have the right information, no matter what happens, you're going to be able to, figure out a way out of it and figure out what you need to do. Did that answer somewhat?
Yeah, it sure did. That's kind of I also think there's a lot to be said for in your mind, even though you know other people, particularly when you're getting started, other people have done it. There is that question in your mind. You don't quite believe you can do it. So belief is a big piece of this, is somehow believing that things could go right. So I think we have a tendency to listen to the yeah buts and all of the think about, when you're thinking about things, you think about all the things that could go wrong.
Right.
But if you intentionally switch your mind to all of the things that could go right, all of the things that could make it go right, and so you're just switching from intentionally from that voice in your head from a negative to a positive until you do your first deal. So believing that you can do it is so key to this, I think. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. That's right. You do. You have to change. That's a good point. You have to change the words that you use, not if I, but when I. Absolutely. And I can do this and I will do this, and take the negatives out of your language and vocabulary. That is very important. And it is true. Like, you work so hard to get your first deal. And then once that first deal comes along, you're like, oh, wow, I did this. I can do this. And then the other ones kind of start coming a little more easily. It's almost like, you don't realize that things are in front of you, that people are making deals all the time and doing real estate all the time, and you don't see it. It's kind of like the analogy of, you see it, you have a certain car in mind that you're interested in buying, and you don't really see those cars on the road, but as soon as you buy one or are looking for one, you see them everywhere. So it opens up, your eyes. Once you start getting into real estate, your eyes and mind opens up to different possibilities that you didn't realize were there.
And that was one thing we did do early on. I think I forgot about it, but we did change our language to, I'm going to try to get a deal till, like, and sometimes we would give ourselves a date. So it might be by, whatever, June 1st, we're going to have, a house under contract, and it wasn't going to be, I'm going to try to get one. It's going to be, we will have, and it'll be, and then go a little bit further and put a date on it. Because once you do that, that kind of makes it real. Whereas it's not, oh, one day I'm, gonna get a deal. You're giving yourself a time to do that and then accomplish it.
That is funny, because we have an opportunity to go to Iceland, and we were saying, if we can create this many deals, and make this much money, then we will go to Iceland. So we kind of do fun things like that too. If we want to do something fun or go on a trip or buy something, it's like, okay, we'll buy that, but we have to make, this amount of money or sell this house or get this many rentals before we can do that. So it's
Or
fun.
we can have fun
Yes, so actually you can do it that way too, make it fun.
and a challenge.
Yeah.
Monty, I see your address in, I think, Roy, I need your address. You can direct message me and I'll just do it that way. And I don't know who the third person was, even though everybody turned their cameras off. There he is. I got yours, Monty. Thank you. James, who was was Roy second, and I didn't see who the third one was.
You hear a lot about accountability partners. Obviously, you talked about between the two of you, if one of you's down, you can kind of talk to the other one and kind of do it. My wife actually goes swimming 3 times a week. When she's exhausted, our neighbor says, no, we're going, and then it kind of works both ways. So what do you guys think about accountability partners or that whole kind of theory?
I think it works well. It works great, especially, if you have a deal that you're trying to structure to see if it makes sense. It's great to bounce it off somebody else, have a mentor, a coach, have somebody that, that has more experience than you, especially that, you can make sure it, works and makes sense. And then you're right with just an accountability partner with getting yourself out there. That way, the two, even if it's people that's on the same level as you with the same experience and level, you can kind of, have goals, set goals for yourself. Monday, set goals together on a phone call, and then Friday, get back with them. And then when you have somebody that, that's holding you accountable, then you don't want to be that person who did not follow through with, maybe it's mailers or phone calls or whatever you decide your goals were that you didn't fulfill your goals. So that does work perfectly.
I like accountability partners as long as they're both going to be accountable. Sometimes you'll find out people, they drop off and then that brings you down. So you definitely have to make sure it's the same. It's somebody on your same level of wanting to succeed, because a lot of times people that the naysayers will jump on and say, well, I need an accountability partner. Whereas, you're doing all the coaching them or trying to bring them up all the time, and that brings you down. So, if it's not working, that's something to get out of quickly. But, just finding some good groups to get in that everybody's positive and everybody's bringing some value and helping everybody else out, which, we're trying to grow this group to do that so that we can all help each other out and get doing some deals and doing some single family stuff.
And we're all doing it for the right reason. And, we're all honest and loyal. And, there's so many people out there that are shysters. And at least, with a group like this, that you're in the right group, in the right setting, that everybody's out to harm anybody or try to one up on somebody. We've had our experiences in the past with, people trying to steal our deals or, take money from us. And it's frustrating. And, you want to make sure you get yourself involved in the right group, in the right setting with people that are here to help you up, pull you up and help you out and teach you the right way.
So is there anybody on the call that has bought real estate or has succeeded at something? And how did you get yourself through that new experience? Anybody willing to kind of share that? And has anybody actually bought any properties? Anybody done some deals?
Even if you just want to raise your hand up on your screen, if you don't want to talk.
Roy, I got your address too.
Oh, Roy's talking.
Yeah, I've done in the past 2 deals, mostly from the MLS, but it's the first experience was just go with it. I do at the time, I don't know what I was doing. I just wanted to own a rental property. That's all I know, just go and I just went and bought it. I didn't think about cash flows and all these things. And I like the property. I wanted to have a rental property, and I just went and bought. That's it. I did. Then I learned all these things, cash flow, how to evaluate, and all these things. First property, I didn't know. I didn't look at all these things, and I didn't even know how to evaluate the property properly. How to do how to evaluate the cost to rehab and all these things. So
Is it successful? Are the properties doing good?
yeah, it's successful, and it's a rehab good experience, and I still own that property now, and it's I'm in Virginia area, but it's barely cash flows. At least it's yeah, just a little bit of cash flow, but yeah, at least it's paying the mortgage, and I have a good equity on this right now. Yeah.
And that's like a great mindset, because you didn't let everything else, kind of bog you down. You just went out and did it, and it turned out okay. So as you get more experience, obviously, you already have that I can go out and do stuff. So now it's, going to be even better when you learn a couple things, and that helps you along the way. So that's a great mindset to have, and obviously it turned out well, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Sharon. Anybody else want to chime in?
Well, what brought me here was I changed my mindset a little bit. I went from thinking, how can I change a can't to a how? So I can't do this. Now, how do I do this? And that's one of the things that led me to saying, you know what, I've been interested in real estate analysis by paralysis for 5-10 years. I was a realtor for 5 years back in 2005 through 2010, and I lost a lot during that whole crash, so I experienced that too. So yeah, so that's why I'm here.
That's a perfect mindset right there. Are you still an agent?
No, and that was another state too. So I changed locations. I took on a job and went to another state, and I had my license for a while, held in escrow through the broker, and then eventually I just, said, I'm not going to do this anymore in that state. So kind of let it go. So maybe I'll look into getting a license again in this state. I don't know if it's necessary. I have people from different schools of thought on that and say, oh yeah, it's a good idea to have it. It comes in handy, but at the same time, it's not needed. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's that. Thanks for sharing, Monty. It's definitely not needed. Sometimes it's like you have the keys to the kingdom, but then you have all the other stuff that comes with that. And I don't begin to know, like, they wholesale down here in Florida, like agents wholesale. And I guess there's some kind of disclosures or something that they have to go through. So I don't know if that complicates things, but definitely don't need your license. And you definitely shifted your mindset. And if you don't have a deal already, I expect you'll probably have one in a week or two.
And there are pros and cons to having your license, like you can make all kinds of bids. You got the HUD Home Store that you can bid on. So there's good points and bad points to having, you do have to disclose that you're an agent, and then there might be some things that the broker don't allow or don't want you to get involved with investing, but it's good to have if you're not a realtor or an agent yourself, it's good to have one on your team.
Thanks for sharing, Monty. So you're in Virginia?
Yes. So yeah, I ended up relocating to Virginia. Originally, I was in a tropical oasis, a beautiful place where everybody loves everybody, and nothing but love. It's called Detroit, Michigan. You might have heard of it.
Oh boy. Good move.
So, you know, I'm in Virginia, so it's a little nicer, a little better, a better environment for my son for sure. So,
That's awesome.
How's the market there?
it's been pretty strong. I think the bubble of the whole
Okay.
government kind of picks it up and keeps it elevated to a certain level. So it protects it. I mean, it's great as a seller, but it can be more challenging as a buyer, right? Because now you're trying to buy at those high ends, but at the same time it protects your assets. So just figuring out how I can get into this multi-family game and get that passive cash flow, which is really not that passive. I don't understand why they call it passive, but
Gotta work
you
hard
know,
for everything,
I'm not
right?
even being passive, just learning. I'm just being aggressive as a learner. I'm trying all these. Seems like everybody I turn to is just trying to make money off of it. If it's not Lance Edward or it's Grant Cardone or it's, you know, the RE mentor, it's just like everybody wants to sell you some
Mhm.
course. And I guess I'm sure all those courses have value. I'm not knocking anybody or anything, but it seems like I'm getting more requests for my money than I am to say, hey, we want to help you, teach you. It's a two-way street. Let's work together. That's kind of what I'm looking for here, you know?
Right, absolutely.
Yes.
So just new to game, just trying to start out, and it's said all the time, you don't know what you don't know, and you
Exactly.
stumble. I've owned a rental property before in the past, and it wasn't like because I tried to become a landlord. It was when I moved from Michigan to Virginia, I was upside down in my house. So I couldn't sell it. So I had to sit on it, and I ended up renting it out. And then I've learned some things from that. So, I mean, it was a learning experience. Always use property management companies,
Yeah,
especially long distance. If you don't
yeah.
manage from
We
500 miles away, because it cost me. So yeah.
we learned a little bit of that as well. So
A lot of,
well, and you know that's pretty incredible because you took something that was going to be a loss and you made it happen. Just you know, again, back to problem solving. I think a lot of real estate is like problem solving and figuring out the solution. So right there, you turned that around and turned a loss into a rental house, and then you know learned a few things along the way. Got a few
Oh yeah.
bruises, but you know there you are.
accidental landlord.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of just fell into it, and then I just tried to, well, you know, I'm not going to walk away. I'm just going to try to, because there was a lot of people short selling and doing other things, you know, and
Right.
doing what they could to walk away from these properties. And I said, well, I'm going to ride this thing out. I'm going to figure this out. So, you know, I changed it from can't to how, and you know, kept with it until I was able to eventually. I ended up selling it. I didn't sell it at the top because you can never time the market. I learned that too.
Right.
That's a good lesson. So, but
Well,
not trying to take a meeting here. I'm just,
No, it's
that's
yeah,
perfect.
we appreciate the interaction. We get tired of hearing ourselves talk.
But you and Roy definitely have the right mindset. Just go out there. You want something, or you got to figure something out, and just go do it. And
yeah. So I've heard the stories too, how it takes, you can do this with a little of your own money down. I'm in the Carlton Sheets. You remember that name?
yes.
Heard it. Yep.
Yeah, I bought it in that course. It didn't work so well for me,
Mm.
you know?
You go
So-
into, you know, every course, I think we've learned something. We might you know, it might not be what we everything, but like as long as I always feel good if we always get like a couple good things that we can use that helps out either now or down the road. But you're right, you know, we don't like the get rich guys quick, because if it's too, you know, if it sounds too good to be true, then it is. Like anybody that says real estate's not work, I'm not going to listen to them, because they're obviously not doing things right, because that's all we have been doing is working. I mean, if
yeah.
some people stumble into it, but most people, it's a lot of work.
And even if anything else, if you go to, you know, places or listen to courses or get involved in something, it's always an opportunity to network and meet people. And then there's somebody that you can do deals with down the line. Even if, you know, they live in different states, you could create deals. Each of you can create deals in your states, and then, you know, share, you know, try to get money on both of yours and split profits or JV with, you know, there's always opportunities. So that's another good thing. Even if it's the speaker isn't great, then at least you can network with everybody there. And get some sort of nuggets out of it. We've had,
Yeah.
where we
I'm
went
pretty
to,
much,
I'm
I'm
sorry?
always gonna get something from somebody. I'm always gonna
Yeah.
try to get something from somebody. I'm always gonna try to say, okay, what positive nugget can I get from this?
Yep.
You know, I spent
Yep.
this time. There's always an investment. And the biggest investment you can honestly make is time, because you can never make more of that. You can make
You're
more
right.
money. There's always to recoup your loss. But how do you recoup your time? How do you can't make more time. It's 24 hours in a day. We're all held by that constraint. So, I mean, it is what it is. So you've already spent that time. So trying to find that value in that time you spent. That's what I'm trying to do today.
That's a great
So-
point.
I've heard from, I'd like to, so we haven't, so Ken, Crispin, Bally. One of the things we've been trying to figure out is what sort of topics you'd like to know more about. And this is also Roy and Monty. But what sort of topics would you like to hear that would bring you back to this? Would any of you please share what you're thinking? Ken, Crispin, Bally, Roy, anybody? You too, Monty. I'm just trying to see if we can hear from people who haven't spoken up at all. How can we serve you better?
I think Crispin's got their hand up.
No, that's ours.
Oh, never mind.
Doesn't matter.
Sorry.
Okay, guess we don't have people who want to talk today.
I'm gonna go ahead and put in your email address into the chat, and that way if people want to send you ideas or something like that, they can do that. Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely.
Perfect.
So, well, here's where I'm at. I'm trying to think of a 3 to 5 year retirement plan. So I can retire from working my 9 to 5 and 3 to 5. And by that time, I've built up positive cash flow and some wealth through real estate that now I've either doubled or replaced my income. And, you know, any concerns I've had about where I'm at financially, so I don't have to become a greeter at Walmart and continue to live at least in the same lifestyle that I can keep my wife living in. So, you know, that's kind of my thoughts. And then multifamily, how to scale that. Is it feasible to say, okay, I'm going to go from a 4 to an 8 to a 16 and just double it on every other deal? Or is it 6 months? Is it a year? I mean, these are questions I have. I don't mean to steal the show here or nothing, but
No, I'm glad you're giving input. Sometimes you have to put your end number, what you need to make, and kind of reverse engineer and work backwards from that. Nicole, James, do you agree with that? Where he would have to, decide how much money that he would make to make him comfortable to leave his job, and then see how many deals and what types of different deals he's interested in, and see how many houses that he would need
Yeah,
to
no,
come up with that
absolutely. I
number.
think you got it exactly right. Figure out what your end number is. And I think there's two numbers, right? And Nicole has talked about this before. So you have one number. This is what I need to make to live. Here's my budget. I need to make $3,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $5,000 a month, or whatever it may be, to make sure everything's paid for, right? I can eat, I can pay my mortgage, I can pay my car note if you have one, whatever it is. And then the other number is, what would I like to make? Right? I would like to make $20,000 a month or $100,000 a month or whatever it may be. And then take that first number and then exactly what Sharon said, reverse engineer it. The average house cash flows, depending on where you are, let's call it $200 a month, or, Sharon, you and Jane would know better, but let's call it $200 a month, and you want to make $2,000 a month, you got to get 10 houses, right? So, and just figure that out, and then figure out, okay, if I need to get 50 houses at $200 a month, I don't know, what is that, $10,000 a month? Is that right? 50 houses. All right. So maybe
Yes.
the first year you decide, something, the first year is always the hardest. I'm going to have to get, educated and understand what I'm doing. And I'm probably going to trip a couple of times. So the first year I'm going to set a goal for 3 houses. So that's one every 4 months. And then you get pretty good at it. Your network starts to grow. People are starting to bring you deals and stuff like that. So maybe the second year you go out and you get 6 more. So now you're at 9. And then every year it's more than the year before, but that's how you accelerate into that number that you need to be at to get to your dreams and goals. I mean, do you guys agree, or you have a different method, or?
No, absolutely. That's and even break it down to how you get those houses and how many how many flyers you have to send out, or however you acquire the houses, how are you going to do that, and just break it down to those numbers. And we've heard a lot of other people say, just quit your job and then you'll figure it out. I don't necessarily agree with that philosophy there. I don't think that would work for us, because then if you do fail, then you're kind of right back where you started. You'll never do it again. So just reverse engineer the numbers, get your number, and then work towards that, and then put a date on it in a couple years.
And Ken typed in the chat, he was having problems with audio issues on his side, but he would like to hear about opportunities, strategies, insights on short-term rentals, Airbnb, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I didn't look at the whole schedule, but we are actually going to have somebody coming in talking about Airbnbs that have several successful Airbnbs. We had one that was disastrous in the beginning, but then it finally turned out okay. But at the height of the market, we just went ahead and sold it, and it was in a different area. But we've had one, and we definitely took our lumps with it, and
We learned a lot about condos.
learned a lot about condos.
Ins and outs and the reserves and things that we hadn't, that we had to learn quickly, and
But it was a successful Airbnb. But I think we have a pretty good person coming in to talk about the Airbnbs in a couple weeks. Have to look at the schedule.
Great.
I would like to hear on your past deals and what the lessons that you learned. Maybe if you have done many deals and some of those would have been difficult situations or difficult things you have dealt with. Would like to learn your experience on walking through a few of those deals and what went through your mind, and how did you overcome the challenges that you had with those specific deals.
Sure.
okay, that's a great idea. And we'll even talk about the ones that were total fails, flops, because we've all, once you start investing and once you've done it for a while, you're going to have some things that didn't go, that went awry, deals that went awry and everything. But that is one important thing about having a network of people or mentors or people to show you the way, because when you do fail, you don't flop completely on your face where you're totally annihilated, where you're not able to come back in the game. You're one and done if you mess up. So the things that we have made mistakes, there were ones that we were able to come back from, just lost some money and was able to make it up with other deals. So absolutely, we will it's a good idea. We will talk about those.
Do you guys use hard money lenders or private money now?
We use private money. We have never used hard money lenders. We're intimidated by hard money lenders with their
15% and 3 points. Come on.
and then they want their money back in 4 months.
That's right. Well, I'm sure.
Meanwhile, you're working on waiting for the materials to come in or something.
I guess we're fortunate or unfortunate. I'm not sure what, but I think like we just the private money or self-funding has kind of worked for us, where it's we've never had to reach out to a hard money. I don't think I would be as intimidated now, but I don't know. I think when we first started, it was like we heard all these horror stories and we thought they were like the mafia guys that were going to come in and break our fingers or something. I don't know. We got a thing about hard money. We were always like, well, we're not going to do hard money. But now the private money's going up because of the interest rate. So I guess the hard money will be going up even more.
Yeah, I guess we would definitely look, if we were deciding to, look in the hard money realm, we would definitely see what the the contract, read the contract and see the stipulations and everything, see what we're getting into, because, if it's a deal that could be had, or we would have to walk away from it, then absolutely. If there's an opportunity to make a good amount of money on the deal, I would rather give away some profits and make it and make the deal instead of not doing the deal at all. I'd rather, give up some profit.
And that might be a good topic. Maybe we can get a hard money lender guy to come in and kind of talk about that, since we were intimidated by it. I'm sure other people are, so maybe that's a good topic. We could bring a hard money guy in to talk about,
Right.
or girl, either one.
So, and then Ken followed up with, in terms of, I guess this would be perfect for your condo story. Lessons learned from Airbnb that eventually turned out to be good. Mistakes, surprises, pitfalls, unforeseen difficulties, complications.
Perfect.
I'm
Thank
sure you
you,
guys
Ken.
could do 20 minutes on your condo.
Yeah, I could do like 3 hours on that. I could teach a course on that. And I guess some of the topics we try to throw in some of our stories. So like each topic we have, sometimes we do throw in our little pitfalls.
I love hearing the stories. I think it's great.
And there's so many people that act like that, nothing's went awry, or they didn't make mistakes, or they didn't lose money, and nobody wants to talk about that. But that is important to talk about.
Well,
And
it makes
sometimes it's
you,
not even sometimes it's not even the losing money, which, like, we haven't lost a ton of money, but like we broke even, and then we've lost money on time. Like doing a flip in St. Pete, where the contractor, where we started having to check up, we didn't lose money on the house, we made money on the house. But then if you go back and say, well, every day we had to drive up there to St. Pete, and we had to go over the bridge, and we had to pay the toll, and all that adds up, where it's not the money you lost, it's the time you lost, or the relationship you lost, or different things that kind of, it's not always about the money.
Yes, absolutely.
well, I think also with your stories, I mean, everyone wants to hear about the positive stories. I made X amount of dollars on this flip, or this, whatever it may be. So that's important, right? To give people hope, to say, okay, they did it, I can do it too. But I think it's also important to have those kind of, we screwed up here. I mean, it's just the way it was, we messed up, we didn't know enough, or we did a mistake, or whatever it is. Because I think what that tells people is, it takes a little bit of the fear away, because they look at you and go, oh, okay, they tripped, but they're doing really well right now. So as long as I keep trying to learn and stuff like that, I can be just like them. So I think that's hugely valuable.
Yep. Everybody's going to trip a little bit, but have a good network and have some good ways to get out of your situation. You always end up on top.
And realize that we're no different than anyone else. And if you work hard and really want it, then you can,
You
be
make it happen.
successful in real estate as well. So
I don't remember who actually said it, but I think it was somebody who said something to the effect that the one who fails the most learns the most and wins.
I believe it. And then there was also a book that we read called Fail Forward, which is good. It teaches you how to fail the right way and fail forward, and come back up from it. So,
and we always try, like, if you make a mistake, like, I'll never make a mistake with a condo. Trust me, when we buy a condo, I know the reserves, I know this, I know how many units are in the building, I know what the HOA fees are, I know the assessments, the special assessments, the square footage equals more, if the lanai counts, I know anything you need to know about a condo before I would buy another one. So, yes, we took our lumps, and we ended up making a good amount of money on that condo when we sold it. I don't know if it was worth the gray hair for the couple years, but at the same time, we learned now we could buy a condo with no issue whatsoever, and we would be making the right decision.
and we've actually bought several more condos after that. So we just, so it's work. We didn't get too intimidated where we walked away from condos altogether, but
It didn't deter you.
right,
Yep.
exactly.
So as long as the mistakes you do make, you just make it that once. If you make it once, it's a mistake. If you make it a couple times, then I can't speak to that, but don't do that.
Absolutely. That's what I told my son. I said, you're gonna make mistakes. I have no problem with that. I just don't want you to make the same mistakes repeatedly.
Yep, absolutely. Smart.
All right, guys, it's about 8:25. Anybody have any other questions, or I guess we'll call it a night. And next week, I think we're gonna talk a little bit about insurance. It's not gonna be a real long presentation, but just some things to know and things we learned, especially after hurricanes and stuff down here. So
Awesome. So.
Nice job. Thank you very much, you two.
sure.
Thank you, Nicole.
And the
Yeah,
16th,
wonderful.
we're pretty excited. Jose Garcia, one of our partners, is going to come in and talk about mobile homes. I think mobile homes are sometimes not thought of as an asset where you can make a whole lot of money, but Jose's doing it regularly, making $200 to $300 cash flow, so you can buy more, you can rehab more. So he's going to be on the 16th. So we're looking forward to having him in after our little talk on insurance, which probably not the most exciting topic, but things you need to know.
It can make
Yeah.
and break you. And we've invested in mobile homes too, and we've invested with him on mobile homes. So it's you can make good money that way. So it's a good topic, and you don't have to come in with as much money as a regular house a lot of the time. So it's a good investment.
Now he buys mobile homes. Nicole just buys parks, so can't speak to that. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. We always appreciate your time. We know it's valuable, and we'll catch you next week. Hope everybody can be here, and gift cards will be in the mail.
Bye, you guys.
All
All
right,
right,
have a good
thanks.
night.
Thank you. You
Yep,
too.
you too.
Okay,
Thank you
bye.
so much.
Thank you.
Good night.